Every week, over 53,000 Kentuckians receive food from a food bank. Maggie and I are excited to understand more of what Dare to Care is doing to combat hunger in Louisville and the region around it, and merging farmers with food banks to make sure that everyone not only has food on their table, but it's fresh, good food. I'm always on the farm, and Lindsey's usually in her kitchen, and so to get us out and inspired by other people is really important. We aim to educate viewers to learn how to cook from real ingredients for their family and friends. And we also want to encourage viewers to access those ingredients from their local farmers. There's these beautiful rural landscapes, there's these tiny little towns, and I'm ready to explore them, and I'm ready to see what they're cooking and what's growing in their gardens.
Hey Maggie.
Good to see you, Ben.
Welcome to the farm.
So Ben and Bree's farm is right down the road in Crestwood, and so they grow a lot of crops on a large scale. So tell me more about Rootbound. What are you all up to?
So Rootbound Farm here in Oldham County, we raise certified organic vegetables. Yesterday they picked turnips, they picked fennel, lacinato kale, peppers. And there's Seamus, our master packer.
Hey, good to see you.
See you too. Welcome.
My wife Bree and I are full-time farmers. This is our livelihood. As we've grown our business, what we've really, and this isn't just true for farming, this is any small business, but the margin you have, that extra money you have at the end of the year, was really all based on controlling waste. By the time we're harvesting a crop, we've put so much into it. We got to get as much as we can out of that crop and not waste any of it.
I know you all have worked with Dare to Care in the past.
That's
so
right.
Tell me more about that relationship.
When you're farming vegetables, we inherently sort of have excess, and excess can easily become waste.
So a big part about Dare to Care is it's definitely benefiting the food insecure in our community and feeding them fresh vegetables, but also it's really benefiting the farmer. They have those extra crops that they are trying to get rid of and they may not have the market for. And so Dare to Care has sort of bridged that gap.
It just fit in with our system. You know, for us, well, what are we gonna do with 40 extra cases of zucchini? And for them, it's like, they don't blink an eye at 40 cases of zucchini. It was a way for us to reduce waste, us to give back to the community, but again, also, they are paying us through the Farmer The Food Bank's program a small amount.
What does that mean to you, knowing these kids are eating fresh local?
I think the local component is exciting because when a big farm in California has an excess, they can send over a semi of carrots. But bell peppers or eggplant, it's just too perishable. So we're able to work in a lot more diversity of products, which of course helps people eat better. It's more exciting, introduces people to new food.
Do you see this as a sustainable model for other farmers to use?
I think it's not only sustainable, I think it's essential. The impact they're having not just on hungry families, but on Kentucky farmers as well. I mean, it's a win-win.
Do you do raw salads with this?
We do, yeah. I love all the kales, but really this one's probably my favorite.
It looks awesome. I mean, I can't believe how bug-free this looks. So being certified organic, you can use some organic pesticides,
We can use some organic sprays, yeah. We don't want to use them too much because we don't want to build up resistance in our local pest population. We try to make a healthy soil the foundation of our crops.
So when you're out in the field harvesting and working with this stuff, knowing it's going to Dare to Care, is there a different feeling?
A lot of our normal venues are sort of people that have expendable income, that are able to access that kind of food. So when we are also able to send our food to people that can't normally access this kind of food, yeah, it's really fulfilling, and it makes you work extra hard to make sure things don't go to waste. When you go to a facility like Dare to Care, it's sort of mind-boggling when you go out there and you see a warehouse the size of, I don't know, 3 or 4 football fields.
Yeah.
Dozens of staff, forklifts, and all this is the food that we need to feed people in our own community.
This morning we're going to Dare to Care to visit their food bank. We're going to meet Brian, the director of Dare to Care, and he's going to help us understand what hunger in Louisville and the region looks like and how that impacts their day-to-day operations.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Thank
you.
for
Maggie,
Hi,
great to see you. Welcome to Dare to Care Food Bank.
Thank you.
You picked a great day to be here. We're
Oh my
really
gosh.
busy this morning.
So who is Dare to Care serving?
Dare to Care serves 8 counties here in Kentucky. We have 5 across the river in Indiana. There's 181,000 food insecure individuals in that service area. Last year, we distributed 23 million pounds of food, which equates to about 19 million meals. We work with 270 nonprofit organizations in our community. All of those organizations receive food from us, and then they in turn distribute that either to their clients or to people in their community who are food insecure.
So when you say food insecure, can you help describe what that means?
So food insecure individual is someone who isn't always hungry, okay? There may be food in their pantry 3 weeks out of the month, but there's a week during that month when there isn't food in the pantry and they don't have the ability to source that food. One of the challenges with hunger is that it's an invisible issue. Your neighbor, my neighbor, could be suffering from food insecurity and we wouldn't know it. It's important that the community understand that today the need for food assistance has never been higher. We know that with this historic level of need, we have to keep acquiring and distributing food to make sure that even though these folks are at risk of going to bed hungry, they won't. We have 2 agencies receiving their food. Let's walk over, we'll take a look. When the agency comes to pick their food up, their shelf-stable and frozen product has been pre-ordered. What they don't pre-order is the produce because we don't know what we're going to have each day because it turns so quickly. Once their dry good and frozen order is loaded, we make all of this available to them so they can pull as much of this as they want that day as well.
So how often do you come pick up here?
Every week.
Every week?
A huge part of our food budget is spent on fruits and vegetables. Almost 1 million pounds of that produce was sourced right here from Kentucky farmers. Donated food is still very important to us, but as we increase the volume of food we distribute and as we increase the nutritional value of that food, we can't rely on donations. We have to buy food. Behind you, Lindsay, is our freezer and cooler. Let's pop in real quick.
Okay.
We always like to say this is the coolest place in the warehouse.
Yep.
We won't stay long, but so this is our cooler. So much of the food we distribute now is fresh fruits and vegetables and frozen proteins. And I always like to point this out because I think when people think of a food bank, they think of their church pantry, a little food closet, and they go, well, why do you need $8 million a year to run a food bank? Well, this is why.
One program that I loved learning more about is the community kitchen.
That program, in my mind, is probably the most impactful program we operate.
One of the most significant programs run by Dare to Care is the Kids Cafe, which is a major operation run by Chef John and his team. We were up super early to help prepare food with them. It's hard to imagine that they can get over 1,200 hot meals out to children throughout the region every single day, on time, never missing a beat. Is it okay that I squish them in a little bit?
9 to a roll.
9 to a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
These are local watermelon from Indiana. Every day we cook everything fresh, so we have to start early. We serve anywhere from 14 to 1,900 meals a day. We bring kids dinner who don't have anything to eat when they go home. We go to about 36 sites.
A little water, salt.
Chef John is always thinking about really nutrient-dense meals for kids. And so I was really excited to be able to bring Fox Hollow beef to Chef John and see what he can create.
Today we're going to be doing beef and noodles, so we have about 225 pounds of ground beef to cook. We made a brown gravy, fresh onions, fresh celery, fresh peppers, fresh garlic. We work on an 8-week cycle menu, so the kids never see the same food for 2 months. We have to make it appealing to them. It has to look good, and it has to taste good, and it has to be something they can relate to.
This takes some muscle, doesn't it?
Maggie, PCC, Portland Community Center, PCC.
Okay.
I love that you also want them to have a meal that they enjoy and they can
Right.
feel, that love from.
They'll write us little thank you notes, we really like this, or they'll ask them what their favorite food is, They love the pineapple, fresh pineapple. There's a lot of kids that never had pineapple.
And what does that mean to you to know there are children every day that now don't have to worry about what's for dinner?
Oh, it's a great feeling. There's 1,500 kids that are going to eat dinner tonight, and they're going to get something good. And they're not going to go to bed hungry, and they can concentrate on kid stuff and doing their homework and going out playing and
Yeah, being a
being
kid.
a kid.
We got to cook these meals, load them up, and send them off to all these different sites. And so we wanted to go follow them and be able to serve some of this food to the kids in our community.
Maggie and I are excited to go to the Portland Community Center, meet Kyle, who is the director, and learn more about their programs. Kyle, thank you so much for having us here today. Tell me a little bit about the Portland Community Center.
The Portland Community Center is a community-based recreational facility. We offer Cub Scouts, karate, sports leagues. We pride ourselves in providing a safe place for youth and adults to socialize, hang out, and then we also, of course, offer Kids Cafe. We really are really excited to be part of this neighborhood. We're serving a community and a population that we really think appreciates and needs our services. You don't have to be a member of any of our programs to be participating in the Kids Cafe program. You just walk in and we serve you a meal. We get different kids throughout the week, but we see a lot of the same kids too, so I'd say we serve maybe 75 or so different kids throughout the week. These kids that come here know that they're going to get a good, nourishing, plentiful meal. It provides some good emotional security for them.
So what are some of the kids' reactions to some of these meals?
Well, it's funny because usually kids won't tell you if it's good. They just eat it.
So that it's a good thing
Right,
if
if
you're
they
not
didn't
doing
say
anything.
anything to us, it was good.
We had a wonderful time today at the Portland Community Center. I really loved talking to the kids, learning about what it is they like to eat, and sharing with them the types of food that I enjoy so much. I can't wait to get into the kitchen with Maggie to create a kid-friendly menu. I'm so happy to be back at your house on the farm. I feel like we've come full circle.
Yeah, we started off with Ben at Rootbound, and that was really fun to harvest kale. And then we headed to Chef John at Dare to Care Kitchen.
Yeah, that was such a cool experience, being able to be a part of that very well-oiled machine. So in reflecting on that, I was really trying to come up with meals that caregivers could make with kiddos that they would be excited about, because I think when kids have a hand in making something, they're definitely more open to eating maybe some new vegetables. And I can't think of many kids that don't love pizza.
Exactly.
So I feel like we should start there. One of the things I love about pizza in particular is it can be made with staple pantry ingredients. And there's a lot of different things where kiddos can get their hands involved here. Okay, so first, if you could hand me the yeast. So we're gonna make a fresh dough here. And then I need some hot water because we need to get this yeast growing. And then to get the yeast all happy and really foaming up, we're gonna add some sugar. Yeast eats sugar, so we're gonna feed this yeast. And then I like to just give it a quick little stir with my hand just to make sure everything gets kind of incorporated. So over the next 5 to 20 minutes, it depends on the weather, the air, this particular packet of yeast. It will grow and get bubbly and fun, and I just think that's neat for kids to see. Like it's something that's alive. This just is sort of a shortcut. If you have one, great, but if not, big bowl, wooden spoon, you're all set.
Great.
Okay, so our yeast is bubbly and getting kind of nice and foamy, so it's time for the flour.
Great.
All right, so we're gonna do just under 4 cups of flour here. You don't wanna go ahead and just overload this with flour because we can't take the flour back once it's there. So more often than not, if anything, it's a little too wet, so I just add more flour as I go. So if you wanna hand me about a tablespoon of salt, that'll just go straight in, and then olive oil. So this just adds some nice richness. We've got about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And as you can see, there's a little bit of mess here, but that's probably typical with a kid in the kitchen, right?
Oh yeah, when I'm cooking with Miles, it goes everywhere. And you just have to go with the flow, you know, let it happen. And then at the end, while it's baking, kids actually do enjoy helping clean up.
Yeah. When I'm working with the pizza dough, I like to just keep folding it on itself and turning it. So I pull it over, push down with the heel of my hand, and then just keep doing that. So it's just this rotation process. I think we're in a pretty good spot. So then you have this beautiful little ball of dough. And one way to kind of test it is to push down, and you can kind of see it just slowly comes back up a little bit. Just shows you you've got the right texture. Okay, if you'll hand me some olive oil.
Great. Here you go.
Thank you. Just gonna do a little drizzle in our bowl. And I like olive oil for this because it does have nice flavor, and we've already put olive oil in the dough, but I like to start with the top side down, and I just give it a quick turn, flip it over, rub around, make sure it's coated. It just kind of helps settle the dough. And then you can either take a clean kitchen towel, or I just use saran wrap, and we'll be ready to roll. I think recreating that massage kale salad that we made with the kids at the Portland Community Center is the perfect accompaniment.
Definitely. That was great to watch them come up with the ingredients they want to put on it, try new things.
Exactly, exactly. They had ownership in the salad. So once they did it, once they helped massage the kale, once they shook up the dressing, it was, well, I'm curious about what I just made. You know, I'm not just helping you, I'm creating this myself.
Yeah, and I'd love to take it a step further even and harvest some of the veggies straight from the garden. So this is actually a red Russian kale. It has these nice flat leaves, and I'm gonna take the stems off.
Okay.
So literally you just like pinch near the stem and pull, and it'll come right off.
And these are nice, like smaller kale leaves, which are great for little hands. Kale, I think, is a little bit intimidating, and it's also something that we see in abundance here in Kentucky throughout the year almost. But I also feel like it's something people don't always know what to do with. But you have a bit of a technique that we used with the kids to make it a little bit softer and more palatable.
Exactly. So when you massage olive oil and salt into it, it really starts to break down, and it's a lot easier to eat. Also, if you add a little acid punch, kids seem to like things that are like pickled or have a little bit of that acid flavor to it.
Definitely.
So I have it destemmed, and now I'm just gonna sort of like break it up. And Miles loves doing this part.
Oh, I bet.
You can get kind of loose with it and start to rip it apart, and you don't get to do that very often.
So you don't always get to just tear things up. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and start the dressing here. So honey mustard is a dressing kids like a lot. One tip that you have taught me is to roast the garlic, because that makes it a little more approachable for kids.
Yes, it's not that like sharp garlic taste.
Yes.
Like Miles always says, it's spicy, Mommy. But this is not spicy at all.
No.
It's sweet.
Oh, it's sweet, and it's absolutely delicious. You wouldn't mind handing me a lemon. We need an acid component, and we've got a little bit of that coming from the mustard, but that's also what our emulsifier is. So we're gonna use our lemon here. So, and when I say emulsifier for the Dijon mustard, that's what makes the sauce become creamy. An egg yolk is often used for that as well, a raw egg yolk. We need a little bit of salt. And add just a little bit of pepper in here. And then the best part of this is to come. We're going to add our olive oil. And you gotta add a fair amount. We're gonna start with, I don't know, about 1/3 cup. So I think one of the things I like about this dressing is it is honey mustard dressing, and they're seeing that. We've got honey, we've got mustard, and then we have just a couple other components to round out the flavor. So I think this is a great way for them to just think a little bit more about what it is that they're actually eating, and then get involved in the process. And then this is definitely the fun job. Give it a really good shake. And then we're just gonna taste. You can see how it emulsified. It's nice and creamy. And then I'm just gonna take a quick taste. That's really good. I think it needs a little bit more lemon.
Okay.
This is what I would talk through with the kids. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think? I think it needs just a little bit more acid. I want a little bit more pepper in there. So you need to massage this, right?
Yes. Get it started
Okay.
with a little bit of olive oil.
Great.
And then a pinch of salt. You want to season sort of each layer.
Lovely.
So I'll just go ahead and start massaging, and then you could actually add in the dressing as we go.
All right, well, I want to taste it. I think it's delicious. The
Yay.
kale is definitely tender, but it still has great flavor. The dressing comes through. It's not too strong. And this, might be a bit of a stretch for some kids. I know raw kale is a stretch for some adults.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that we offer and expose these types of ingredients to our children, because if they never see them, or if they only, have negative connotations with them, why would they want to try them? And you carry those habits into adulthood.
Just keep trying, keep trying. I mean, I have put salad in front of Miles so many times. He just now got to the point where he'll pick the things he likes out of them and eat them.
Hey, progress. That
Yeah.
counts. That's fantastic. So when it comes to pizza, what will he eat in terms of veggies?
So his favorite thing is olives.
Okay.
Like olives, whether it's pizza or just in a bowl like this, he would
Fantastic.
eat this whole thing.
I can get along with that.
So I always have olives on pizza, and then he has this new love for red peppers. I mean, they're super sweet. They're in season right now, and so red pepper is definitely a go-to. Mushrooms, I don't know how many kids eat mushrooms, but Miles devours them. So cheese too is always a winner.
Well, of course, yeah. Okay, so our dough is risen. We turned it out. It kind of flattens a little bit when you turn it out of the bowl, but it is fun to see how it's changed in size, and you can tell it's got like a little bit of an airy quality to it. So, like I said, this makes 2 large pizzas, so I'm just gonna cut it right in half, and it'll be good in the freezer for a couple months at least. So
Great.
we're gonna put this one off to the side, and then again, we are working with little hands is what we're thinking of, so we want little pizzas. Then you just kind of roll them lightly. We don't want to overwork the dough too much. Just gonna roll them into little rounds. So there is no such thing as the perfect pizza, but the perfect homemade pizza is not perfect. So this is some sauce we froze that we made a couple of months ago from our farm fresh activities out at Fox
Yes.
Hollow. It's really one of my favorite things to grab from the freezer year round and know that I'm eating still farm fresh food.
I notice you're not going all the way to the edge. Is that
Well, you
sort
gotta
of-
leave a crust.
Okay.
You gotta leave a
Yes.
pizza crust, right? You could go all the way to the edge.
And my question always is, do you do the toppings then the cheese?
I like to do cheese then toppings, so my toppings get crispier,
Yes.
but there's no right or wrong way to do this. So
You like some mozzarella?
I would love some mozzarella. I love to buy balls of mozzarella. It's fun to tear, as you can see. It's sort of almost like, string cheese or something. So this is a great place for kids to take charge. It's kind of fun to let them be the boss for a
Yeah, they
minute.
definitely don't mind having opinions.
Yes, this is true. This is true. And then these are gonna bake on the highest heat possible, because that's just gonna help the crust brown, the cheese get bubbly. Just get it at the hottest setting, pop it in there, and they're gonna cook from 8 to 15 minutes. So
Okay.
it's just one of those things you keep peeking at, and as soon as the crust starts to brown on the top and the cheese is bubbling up, you're ready to go.
Okay, look at this.
I think they turned out great. And I mean, I think our kale salad is the perfect side dish.
So in growing all this fresh food, I have so much access to get fresh ingredients. And I really believe that it's important that we reintroduce fresh ingredients to everyone and allow access to everyone. And so Dare to Care is doing a great job getting produce from local farmers and getting it out to our community. Coming all the way from the warehouse to sitting down at a table enjoying a meal was a full circle experience. These children are eating beef from our farm and they're eating kale that we went to pick at Ben's farm. It really grounded me in why I want to work with Dare to Care and made me want to work even harder to get fresh fruits and vegetables to these children.